All right, I'm hitting the button. Hello and welcome into the Section 109 podcast. Here from Studio Breezy. We are back after another hiatus. And I am here with Mix, the GOAT, and Coach, Bobble Juan, Matthew, Jim. We are podcasters, therefore we like comments, like subscribes. There's actually some comments I want to talk about on this podcast that I'll add to the show doc. But first, my friends, I'm going to skip over the men's vibes for a moment. And I want to go, because last time we podcasted, we were here saying, oh my goodness, the women are in the playoffs. And we didn't know where we were going to go. That season has now concluded. Let's talk about the vibes and then I guess kind of some thoughts on the women's season. Matthew, how are you feeling?
It was awesome. It was a brilliant season. The way they put together that group, the way that team came together. Yes, we finished second in the division, but Decatur are poor, so we got to do playoffs. Avenged ourselves against Nashville Rhythm.
Who?
And, then really just beat the shit out of Arlington and Louisiana Crew. Just quality, an incredible amount of quality that weekend in the regionals. And then, you go to the Final Four, give yourself a chance. And we were fucking good, except at putting the ball back in the net. And
that sounds so familiar.
It was incredibly like in PSL CFC all over again. And, lo and behold, Cal Storm got a counter past the 80s. And they put it away, and that was all she wrote. But an absolute brilliant performance, a brilliant team. You can't say enough about the recruitment job that Sebastian Juan and Marin did.
100%.
Unbelievable. Blending honestly, and finding players from like where Sebastian and Marin came from out west, mixing those with players around the southeast, bringing Kennedy Ball home. Just finding, bringing some returners as well. And Elisa Vincent on the return. Who else? There was somebody else. There were a couple of others. Abby Merrick from UTC, and Billie Jean Davies and folks like that. Like, it is just such a good mix of a group. And they took their chances and went all the way to the Final Four. And that's brilliant. That's so good. 10 out of 10. Fantastic season. Can't wait for the next one.
Jim, how about you?
Yeah, I don't think I can add anything to that. I mean, I think it is. There's another level to go up, though. I mean, and I'm not talking even about nationally. I'm talking about we need to be the best in the Southeast, and so I think that's the target, as well as we played in the region. I mean, the region was kind of a joke once we got there, but
No joke, we killed them.
But we wouldn't have gotten there without, like you said, Decatur being poor. So I think we've got to. That's the one level. It was an amazing season. I don't have it. I'm not going to. I don't want to belabor that point, but I think that's the one thing where if you're looking at performance and saying where do we need to go next, it's we need to dominate our conference, and that's what we need. And in order to do that, I think it's really, can we keep some of these players?
Yes,
a core of these players, and then add on some talent. Now, right now, I'm trying to remember her name, but the winger that came on in the region that we didn't have all.
Grace Ambrose.
Yeah. I mean, she immediately added something that we just didn't have in the season. So if we had that all season, maybe I'm not having this conversation because we played toe-to-toe with Decatur. So it's not like they were heads and shoulders above us.
Yes.
To take away some take away some defensive mistakes and add a little bit more bite to the front three, and we're the best team in the Southeast. So I think that's where I would hope where Juan and the other folks in the FO are sitting down and saying, okay, 10-10, no notes, but we got to get better, and this is where we need to get better. And the first sign of getting better is dominating the conference.
So
can I add something to this? Because I think this is important. And I pulled up Philip Farrell's season recap. Shout out Philip for
doing incredible
crushing
work.
it.
Yeah, seriously, since no one else in all of lower league soccer coverage covered WPSL this year.
Also, just like it's just nice to have an actual journalist covering things instead of some of those fucks that did it before. Anyway,
I don't know if I'd have gone there, but
so
I have a bone to pick with a few people that used to cover CFC.
He mentions Regina Campa, Hannah Helms, Brady Livingston's now in college, Tori Soyoto, who was a UTC player, Chloe Reeves, Caden Mounts, Riley Ramey, Olivia Newton, and Tallulah Lafferty, all players out of the CFC Academy. I mean, you throw Kennedy Ball in there. Although not, I mean, we had 4, 5, 6 players that are like high school, like just starting back their high school year. Most of them, I think, seniors. Like in that group, training with the girls. I mean, like the regional and the Final Four included, I think, 4 academy players on each of those game day rosters, which is like fantastic. Like that's what you want as well. And there'll have to be some updates to the Kids Are All Right TIFO, some more space.
Yeah.
So I just want to start with: do we have a day counter on how many days till Sky Blue season again?
Well, it's August 15, so if it's going to be May 15, that's 9 months. So whatever 9 months is.
Too little. I want them back.
Too much?
That was amazing.
That's too little?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Too much time. It's going to be too long is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. I cannot wait until they are back. I cannot wait. I think at the beginning of the season, if you told me we made the playoffs, I think we talked about this last time, but if you told you we made the playoffs like in second place, I would have been like a little upset about it. And then I remembered that they won, the team that won the whole national title, Charlotte Eagles, last year came in quote unquote second place in their division. Yeah. This is just part of the thing. I agree with Jim that next year I want to see a step up, but this season on the field exceeded my expectations. I wanted to win the division, or I wanted to win a playoff game. A playoff game or win the division. And that meant if we somehow got into the playoffs in second or third place, whatever it was, which we knew was a possibility, and which we talked about last time, but just so everybody knows, the WPSL has actual rules, which is the most shocking thing of all of this. And that is, at the beginning of the season, you must declare whether you are going to do the playoffs or not, if you make it. And if you don't, because you have to front the expense, if you don't, then you just know that they're out. So at the beginning of the season, our understanding is Decatur said they were out, and so they were always out. And Knoxville last year, this is the most shocking part.
Speaking of rules, they enforced them. Shout out Knoxville.
What in the world? Better than NISA, better than the NPSL. Hell, I think maybe better than MLS Next Pro sometimes. But they enforced the rule because last year Knoxville said they were going to go to the playoffs, and they made the playoffs, and they didn't go. Yeah. And so this year they were banned for the playoffs. That's why Nashville and us both went. First of all, hell of a job, WPSL. Second of all, this is just amateur soccer. And so since this is the reality, like I wanted to win a playoff game or make the playoffs as the first place, one of the two. And we went and won 3 playoff games.
Yeah.
And really should have won the fourth.
And should have won the fourth.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes ball doesn't go in, right?
Yes. That's knockout soccer.
That's knockout soccer, and it sucks, but like, man, what a job from the coaching staff, what a job from Sebastian. They put together, I mean, Sebastian, the reason we keep talking about him is we knew from talking to him on this podcast and from his prior work, if you do any digging into Sebastian, he's run a really successful women's program for a while, and boy, did this live up to it. So hell yeah, ladies, 10 of 10, no notes for this season, exceeded every expectation I had. Off the field, there's still some work to go. I wouldn't say so much, a little bit on the club side and stadium side, but a lot of on the supporter side. We need more, I mean, not just supporters, but like we need more fans in the stands. But this was a step in the right direction. There were more fans in the stands every game.
We had, I think, a club record crowd, for the final home game, which was the playoff game against Nashville.
Yeah.
And
Which was like a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yep. I think
what a fun game.
it was amazing. And so I think there's a lot to, I don't want to focus on any negatives. I want to focus on all the positives. Like, hell yeah, vibes are high. I can't wait till next season. I'm sure we'll do at the end of the year, like our grades for on the field, off the field, all those things. And then we'll also do like goals for next season in our New Year's resolution pod. But man, what a season, and what a good vibes thing we've needed during this weird summer swoon. So let's go to the.
Let me say one more thing, and then we'll move on. For any club folks that are listening, when things become official for players moving to pro contracts in Europe, or maybe in the Super League, however that's going to go, I know that some of our players are working towards those kind of professional contracts. Let us know so that we can shout them out and pass them on
Please. And
to their next team,
and follow through FOP alerts maybe some of those players and their journeys.
Oh yeah. I love getting the random like Saturday 10:15 a.m. alert from FOP that Danny Whitehall scored a goal.
Exactly. So also, I believe Cosette Morche just moved.
Yeah, Cozy 2018 CFC
yes.
goalkeeper Cosette Morche was playing in the in the Super League for Fort Lauderdale last year.
Made the final. We watched part of that.
Had a great season. She's moved to Orlando, Orlando Pride in NWSL as their new keeper.
Congratulations. Do you think she's going to start? Do you have any idea? Or is she just a
They're middle of the season, so I doubt it.
I just didn't know.
I don't know.
I didn't know if they had an injury and she was brought in to like play or anything else.
NWSL is not my area
either.
of expertise.
It's not mine either. I was just curious. She's really, really good. For those of you that don't remember her, like, man, she's was really, really good. Really, 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 really good. Mm-hmm. And like 6'1".
Yeah, it was awesome.
Maybe 6'2".
So that's the women's team.
All right, let's move on to the vibes, and let's not make this a downfest. But like, yeah, men's team, 10 games without a win since May 24. How are the vibes, boys? Matt, you just got back from drinking around the world at Epcot and watching the boys pull out a magical comeback in the last minute. Watching Nathan Kohler pull out a magical comeback. Yeah. How are you? Matt, I'll go to you first, and then I'll go to Jim, since I think he's. I can see him shaking his head over there.
So it really depends on when this podcast is released. We're recording on Friday afternoon. If we don't get this thing out quickly, then the vibes could be entirely different or the exact same, depending on the Carolina Core game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Look, 10 games without a win is not great.
Man, this guy's got away with words, doesn't he?
But I would rather. Are we 5 draws, 5 losses? Is that the run?
I don't fucking know.
I'm pulling it up now. We have played 21. We have 8 wins, 7 draws, 6 losses, according to Google.
Okay,
That wasn't the question.
Can you find out
The penalties? Is that what you're looking for?
Jesus Christ. Do you have your headphones work?
They do not.
Okay.
Oh, are you asking the last 10 games?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no, we have 5 draws in the last 10,
Okay.
3 shootout wins, 2 shootout losses.
Okay, so
Okay.
at least if I'm looking for a nice thing to talk about, at least it's 5 draws and not like 2 draws and 8 losses, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, the reality is that's 8 points in 10 games, which ain't good. But if you told me, hey, you're going to get 8 points in 10 games and you're not going to win a single one of those games, okay, well, things could be worse.
Yeah, we could be in a league that doesn't have that stupid shootout every. I mean,
Hey, sometimes it helps.
I mean, 8 points in 10 games, 5 losses, 5 draws. Like, it's not good, but it could be far, far, far worse.
It could be so much worse.
And so to talk about, like, I'll let Jim go after this, but like vibes-wise, like, I think when I looked at preparing a little bit for this podcast last night, I looked at obviously the last like 10 games, whatever. That's how I knew the record, because I'd done it last night. And then it sucks. And then I go back to my goal was making the playoffs. and our playoff position is still promising. If we don't start winning, we're going to keep going down the table. But like we're still on pace to pull this out as long as we can pull out of the slide. So I want to make the playoffs. I know we're not that good this year. I also know we're getting if we can't get a lucky bounce, we are playing poorly some, and we're getting really unlucky when we are playing well. We can't buy a bit of luck when we're playing well right now in this 10-game stretch. So like we're not getting the win. But if we get a couple wins here, we're just the team that we are, which is a very, very, very mid-table team in the East. Jim, how are you feeling?
Well, yeah, I don't remember. Well, I mean, we've never gone through a run of form like this ever. And so, yeah, I mean, I was happy when the first goal went in.
Oh man.
And said, that goal could be huge. And
we weren't watching this together, but we might as well have been watching this together.
and then I just, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of real. I mean, I really can't be that positive. I mean, it's we have played well, and then at times, including taking 2-goal leads against 2-goal lead against Philadelphia, and then I haven't looked at this, but the points we've dropped, I would be interested in looking. Not just the total, but the points we've dropped from a winning position. I don't know what it is. In a couple of games, it feels like the guys have really lost focus. There have been times when and Chris is really known. I mean, at least I think his changes have been typically really, really good. But it seems like in this recent run of form, the changes have resulted in a time period where the team just loses something. And so it's I don't know what it is, and I don't know if heads get down on the field, and they're like, here we go again, and so it becomes kind of this self-fulfilling prophecy. But it's been really rough to watch, and I know they're fighting because we fought back and brought it would have been very easy after going
totally to collapse
2-1 just to be like it's been 2 months. And of this, and here we go again. It would have been very easy just to collapse, and they did not. They did not do that. And now, granted, I couldn't be really happy when the second goal went in. Although Nathan, thank you very much for scoring it.
scoring both of them.
Yes.
Counterpoint, I was very happy.
And I understand. I mean, normally in any other game, I would have been like, yeah, but it was just like, yeah, okay, great.
So I had some of those same emotions, but then I just was like,
I didn't even watch this. I didn't even watch the shootout.
So as soon as we won the shootout,
I had to.
It was
we didn't have to.
You could have
just passed out.
No, I was curious at that point.
So as soon as we won the shootout, it became 2 points rescued, and it was 2 points closer to making the playoffs for me. And I'm not saying I was super thrilled.
It was like, oh great, we won the shoot. Now the narrative is going to be, ooh, we got 2 points out of this. It was lipstick on a pig. I mean,
I do get where you're coming from. I really do. But that saved it. So the loss,
pretty bacon.
I do like bacon.
Losing that game would have been such a different gut punch to rescuing with 1 minute left or 2 minutes left, because we were like deep in stoppage time with 1 minute past.
6 minutes.
And they'd called 5 and we scored in the 6th because there was some shenanigans with that fucking asshole goalkeeper who I hope steps on a Lego and then twists his ankle so bad.
He got shot at one point. Did you see him?
I did. I saw him get shot. There's a sniper on the hill. Yeah. Maybe the same guys that killed JFK. Yeah. It was. I hate
Cruz?
him. I hate him. Oh, Jesus, Matthew.
I just heard what you said.
Mercado is my least favorite player in the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
least, and Alex Sutton exists. So like he is my least favorite player in the whole league. And the fact that we beat him, that we got the extra 2 points, vibes are not high. But like I went into that game just expecting to lose, and then I got a little hope, and then we coughed it up, and then we came back. I'll take the 2 points. So we're at 35 points with 21 games played. If you're listening to this before the game, I'll release this either later today or early tomorrow morning, but probably later today. So hopefully you're listening to this before we play. So whatever. But Cincinnati, if they win, they are the only team under us on 20 games played. They could be at 32, so they could be 3 points behind us. We're in 6th place. We need to come in 6th, 7th, or 8th to make the playoffs.
We could finish 1st through 5th.
We could.
You still make the playoffs if you finish 1st through 5th.
That's true. That's true. Jim, I don't think that's happening. I mean, you never know. The thing is, we could, if we just get if we get a couple of the bounces, like we could certainly finish a little higher. But I just want to make the playoffs. So vibes are not the highest, but when we make the playoffs, if we make the playoffs, quote unquote, I will consider this season a solid step forward and a success if we get there. And if we don't get there, it will be a failure. And that's just the hard part of the line. But like this, it does feel like last year, and there's some mailbag questions we'll get into. It does feel like last year. It's a little different than last year, but like, yeah, it sucks to not be playing well right now. But if we win the next 2, and we're suddenly at 41 points at 23 games played,
We're in.
It's just going to feel different.
Sure,
right?
sure.
It's so hard. I know the vibes question. I should just skip the vibes question, but the vibes
You
question is
should
really
have
tough.
skipped it because I was like, oh God, please don't ask.
So at 11 matches played, we were in like 1st or 2nd. And now at 21, we're in 6th and we haven't won one in forever. And so like it's just impossible to feel good right now about stuff.
Well, I mean, maybe this is just me, but I wasn't on top of the world when we were.
I wasn't either.
Because the metrics were just.
By the way, the metrics have gotten better. Yeah, we just haven't won.
So that's why I keep saying ball just has to. We need ball to go goal because we've had some of these games where we've been genuinely the better team and we either lose or draw. Mm-hmm. And obviously that's just payback for the first half of the season where we were the worst team in several of the games.
Yes, we have regressed. The mean gods out there, we've regressed. Okay,
they are mean. They are mean.
It. Rude. I get it. I understand. Can we stop doing that? Yeah. Can we stop doing that? Can we overperform a couple of times?
If you count the 1 point dropped via draw at Orlando, we have dropped 8 points on the season. From a winning position at some point.
No, that's not that. That's not.
Honestly, it's not as bad as I expected.
But how many of that is in the past? Because I can think 2. I mean, 2 in the last 10. That may be it in the last 10. You got Philly and Orlando. That may be it though.
Well, we didn't do it a lot in the first part of the year.
Yeah, so I'm wondering. I mean, I think that adds to if we've only done it 8 out of 21, 8 points out of 21 games. That's not terrible. It's not good.
You dropped 1 at Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
And then you have to go all the way to you have to go all the way to the Philly game.
Okay.
The 2 points dropped at Philly were the second and third points we dropped from a winning position all year.
Okay. So it's not that. It's recency bias. It just
feels really bad right now.
It just feels really bad.
Yes. So before we go into some signings, which I want to go to, but I want to cleanse the palate a little bit. I want to do a little palate cleanser here. So I asked a question.
With unknown quantities, let's cleanse the palate.
Let's with bottles of something. So I proposed, or maybe somebody else proposed, but we talked about and asked for comments. I definitely asked for comments on a drinking game and what would be the things if you were to do a drinking game.
Yeah, this is
so I want to fully cleanse the palate here. So I'm going to start with an unnamed person sent this via text. And they said, in my drinking game, it would be to have a drink every time one of you guys interrupt yourselves, meaning how often you start a sentence and then don't complete it and just start over or put a qualifying sentence in before you finish it. Which that's what made me more self-conscious than anything.
Listen, that can't be. Listen, I don't believe that's true.
I see what you did there. That was the first one that made me laugh. That one made me more self-conscious because that was such a it wasn't just like a verbal take.
He just did it 3 times in that one set. right then.
So Tom Gonzalez on YouTube says
We're not automatons, unnamed person.
Tom Gonzalez on YouTube says Breezy, hell yeah. Matt, goals change games, and Jim, zone 14.
I don't say zone 14 a whole
You
lot.
used to.
I used to. I mean, we don't score. So I mean, it's
We concede from zone 14 quite a bit.
zone 14 is important.
And then
Zone 5, if you're talking about the defensive equivalent.
oh no, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Matt, fouling is winning from Jeff Clymer, which Matt forgot to mention when he was mentioning his own.
Yeah, it's true.
No, that's the one. That's the one I think that's the one when I said there's one more that I think it was fouling is winning.
Fouling is winning. Personnel is policy.
Wow.
Yeah. If you have
Fullbacks or midfielders.
fullbacks and midfielders are the same thing.
Yeah.
They are.
I'm coming around. I am coming around to that one.
Everyone comes around eventually.
I'm coming around to that. Yeah.
Settle down, Matthew. Those are the ones so far that I caught. If you sent other ones and I missed them, I apologize. Please.
Yeah, I don't have any. You
have no verbal tics.
I don't believe so.
So send more in if you have them. Those made me laugh. Also, please do not perform a drinking game while watching this podcast. I do not want to be responsible for anyone's. I don't mind being responsible for your alcoholism. I don't want to be responsible for your death from alcohol poisoning.
Or from smashing your TV.
Or from smashing. Well, that's just a side effect of the last 11 games or 10 games. Okay. Let's talk about some new signings because I think you could argue, just looking at the tea leaves here, since our run of form has been rough, the club has noticed and has made some signings. Let's go with some men's signings first, and then let's go to a women's player who we never welcomed from the women's run.
Let's do the women's player first. So Natalie Beckman is going to go down as having played one game for CFC.
Love it.
I think she's 25. She's got some NWSL experience with Portland Thorns. She came off a season where she was at Sparta Praha in Prague and played a little ball with Colorado Storm in 2025 and then switched over to help us out because we were losing some players in heading in from the regional weekend to the Final Four weekend.
I just want to point out
Played amazing.
The job that we did. Welcome, Natalie. Please come back.
Yeah, seriously.
Even if it's just for the final next year or whatever. The job that we did to add players throughout the season. I don't even want to talk about it too loud because I'm afraid that it's going to be not allowed. But the job that we did to continue to add players throughout the season as they became available was exceptional and wonderful, and it helped us replace the girls that had to go back to school.
Yeah.
And I mean, just what a job by, again, the coaching staff and the front office of continuing to make sure we didn't fall victim to the thing that we've talked about a million times, but NPSL teams with Division I players and WPSL teams with Division I players that get called back fell into, including we lost Kennedy Ball for a playoff weekend and then got her back.
Yeah.
I don't know what voodoo they did there to all of those things, but hell yeah, let's go. Just another thing that was add to the fuck yeah column for the women's season.
Do you think they just stopped in Arkansas and just let her get on the bus and then just kept driving?
I hope they did. That would be awesome.
But yeah, so thank you to Amy Smith, Amy Neal, and Natalie Beckman for filling in.
Oh, Matthew, we haven't talked about you went to that game.
I did go to that game.
How was it being there in person? Because I was on a tiny bed in Romania in the middle of the night, squinting at it. I set my alarm.
Which game? You went to the Storm?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more painful. I'll tell you that.
Oh, it's better being. To me, it's always better being there. It's better.
No,
being
how many opportunities do you have to go to a Final Four? Right? It was CFC's first time in a Final Four on the women's side.
Yeah, the women's
the Sky
side.
Blues. The Sky Blues.
So
how do you?
So we're 0-5 now.
We are in Final Fours. What's more than that?
Oh, it's 0-8.
No, we've
4-5.
We've won semifinal games.
Well, I mean, yes,
I know what you were saying. Yeah. It's more. By the way, it's more losses in semifinals as well.
Yeah.
But it's the Sky Blues' first time in a semifinal.
Yeah. So
it was a fun, and we dominated, and the ball doesn't go in, and so obviously if we do that 4 years in a row, it'll be a bummer. But first year with that run feels fucking great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
Were there concessions?
You could tell the girls were super bummed, obviously. But like, we did something for them that I don't know if we ever did on the men's side, and that's we gave them like, you know, 'cause for some of those girls, like it's the last time they're ever going to put on the uniform. I mean, they might be hanging up the boots, they might be moving on to real life, whatever it is. So we gave them a Chattahide Nugalo that Jordan Crockett requested to send them out on.
Well, Jordan Crockett's in charge now, so
Correct. And if she's not going to play ball somewhere, she should just move to Chattanooga
she should move to Chattanooga whether she's going to play ball or not. She rules.
and just like start getting into the capo rotation.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a wonderful send off to finish the season. We'll do that again.
Yeah, for sure.
Do they have concessions?
Yeah.
Do they have beer?
No,
Do they have alcohol of any kind?
I don't think so.
Did you sneak any in?
I didn't need to.
Yes, he did. It was
You
just
pregame.
Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah,
not-
we went to a
his body was the container.
we went to a couple of I forget, we were the second game, right?
Yes.
We were the second game. So, and the first game was delayed a little bit, or just it all happened slowly. So I think we were just pre-gaming at some of the local establishments. I mean, it's Oklahoma State's campus, so like it's the summer, so there was no one there. It was awesome. It was a great day.
That's awesome. So yeah, shout out to Natalie. I hope we continue to get that level of player, and I hope that some of those players obviously come earlier, but whenever they arrive, like I was so happy about that. And shout out Natalie. That was a wild thing to look up and look at her Wikipedia and be like, huh, is that the same one?
Yeah.
There's no way that's the same one.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, do you want to talk about, since you don't seem to care which way I want to go, do you want to talk about the men's team signings first or the men's player departure first?
Let's talk about the departure first, and then we'll do the play. Although it's not chronological.
That's fine.
There was one signing, then there was a departure.
Let's talk
Now
about the
there have been
departure
two
first.
signings. So let's talk about the departure.
So as is our custom, we're going to share a couple just high moments of memories. So I'll go first. Two things I remember. I remember his first game. Was it a friendly?
No.
Anyway, I remember his first game where he maybe it was his second game, I don't remember. But the first game I was like, whoa, where he got in one-on-one against the goalkeeper twice and hit one off the crossbar or something. And I was like, whoa, this is wild. I remember seeing him off the field a lot after games. He was always a really happy, fun face to be around. Him and his girlfriend were just always, they took it serious and they came to all the stuff after. So that always really mattered to me. And last year when we went into MLS Next Pro, he scored a bunch of goals, and those moments in a kind of a dark season last season will always be really, really special. I think he really understood what it was to be a CFC player in a lot of ways. And I'll miss him a lot. Off the field, maybe as much as on the field.
We will always have those first two games with Jesus in Nisa, where he was a second half sub against LA Force when we dominated that game. His first start was a week later against Michigan Stars, and how cathartic that game was.
Oh yeah, because we finally beat them.
And dominated them too. And he earned the penalty for that Marcus scored, and he got the assist for Beto's goal. Just a super hot start. Yeah, last year he was really good. 7 goals, 3 assists. It felt like, our summer swoon of last year coincided with Jesus not being available because he missed a significant chunk of that season. And I think we won one game without him in the group. So those are the things I'm going to choose to remember. And playing him as a false 9 for 2 games this year, where, we can talk about We can talk
And we,
about
and
this
we
here a
will
little bit.
because there's
There are a bunch of questions about it. But those 2 games, he was magnificent.
dude. He basically beat Carolina Core by himself and probably got himself a contract. I'll talk about that later. But like,
Yeah.
he drew the red card. Like he was so good. Jim, do you have any moments that you can think of?
I think the thing I remember most about him is this strange feeling of if he's not there, we're not going to score or win. I mean, like it was, and it wasn't really. I mean, although Matt has some numbers that may go back and say, oh, there were some numbers that showed that. I mean, at the time, it was like there's really, it wasn't. He wasn't leading in goals. He wasn't leading in assists. He was just always involved.
Yeah.
And when he wasn't there, you felt like there was a piece of the puzzle that was missing. That would not. There was something like a link in the chain was gone, and so we weren't going to work. And the two of I wasn't his biggest fan his first year here. I heard people talking about him, and I just didn't see it. And then I saw it last year, and I was really excited about having him back. And we'll talk about those things, if we answer some questions. But what I'll always remember positively is that feeling. And I even had it for the most point this year, up until we found out he was leaving, that I felt there was this weird, almost magic thing that if he wasn't in the team, or we were just better when he was in the team, and I didn't really know why. And that weird, that kind of weird magical thing was what I remember about him most.
For sure. I also want to add one MLS Next Pro goal of the year last year with the nastiest of, and that is a moment that what a goal. The audacity and the giant cojones to try that from there and then to pull it off was unbelievable. Also, don't forget this year, it was this year, right, where he danced it into the, he rounded the keeper and like took 6 touches on the line before scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, against Atlanta, that was awesome and fun. I'm going to link in the show notes The Legacy of Jesus Ibarra by Philip Farrell. It's a really nice piece talking about him. I think it does a really nice job.
I forgot I haven't read that. I need to go back and read that.
Yeah. It'll be linked in the show notes for everyone who hasn't read it. It's really, really good. Again, shout out Philip. Thank you for continuing to cover CFC in a really, really substantive way. And then also, kind of last thing, I think it's players come and go, but this is he's a Blue forever, right? I don't care that he signed with Carolina Core. If you're looking out here and you're like, oh look, he left here and he signed straight with whatever else, and you have feelings about that, obviously you're free to have your own feelings, but I don't care. I'm glad. I'm so grateful that we had him. I'm grateful he was with us.
And when he completes his perfect first half hat trick, I'll be just he's for sure scoring a left footer, a right footer, and a header in the first half. Definitely. But happy trails, Jesus. We'll miss you, bud. I'll miss seeing you. And I hope that, I hope it treats you well. And he's going back closer to home. For anyone who doesn't know, the Carolina Core thing, obviously I'm sure, he played right away, so they have a plan for him. He scored in that first game back with them, or not back on the field with them, but also he's going back closer to home. Home base, I believe, is North Carolina-ish, and so as far as I know, at least, and so good for him. Happy trails, brother, and I wish I was going to be there this weekend to say what's up, and I cannot wait to be really sad about him scoring 3 goals tomorrow.
So there's some mailbag questions and some general questions about.
We should talk about Do you want to talk about the signings and then go to mailbag? Because I feel like we're going to talk a lot about Jesus in the mailbag.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it's going to be I think we should just continue a little bit of positive vibes for the.
Okay.
Because I think it's a difficult conversation. All right, Xavier Rimpel. Xavier, excuse me. I apologize. Xavier Rimpel. I even went and listened to his thing this morning, and I fucked it up because they have the pronunciations on the website. Wide forward from Temple University and Kingshammer Sun City. What a fucking name for a USL 2 team. Welcome, Xavier. We've already seen him a few times. Matthew, do you have things to add about Xavier, who he's, first of all hair team.
Yes.
all hair team.
Is it Rimpar or Rimple? Is it Rimple?
Rimpel.
Okay.
I did get that part right. I listened to
Rimpel.
that today. He is 22, which I really like age profile wise. So a lot of times I feel like you look at a guy and they're going to end up being 25 when they like come here or whatever else, and getting out of college at 22 and coming here is a good sign age profile wise.
Yeah, so he's originally from Ajax, Ontario.
Ajax?
I mean, it could be Ajax. I don't know.
It's probably Ajax.
It's fucking Ontario, man.
It's Canada.
Yeah. And he spent his entire college career at Temple University.
Temple, and this I mean this with no. Is Temple a good soccer program? Or the ACC? Where do they play?
No, AAC, I believe.
Yeah, they're in the American.
The Owls.
I really couldn't tell you shit about.
And
I stopped caring about Temple after we left the A10.
If he's gone to Temple, then he knows how to handle a sidearm.
Rough spot to. Actually, we were just near. I was just near the Temple campus, somewhere near the Temple campus, when I was at the Philly game.
Oh yeah, how'd you feel?
Oh, I didn't go too close, but they said if I did to watch out. I had a wonderful time in Philly. Jamie and I shout out.
Philly's a nice town,
yeah.
but the Temple area
Plus a lot of other people.
It's seen better days.
Well, anyway, he went to Temple. I think at some point in time, his home base moved from Ontario to Florida. I'm not exactly sure how, but he's got both U.S. and
As you
That's
do.
the most Canadian thing of all time.
he's got both U.S. and Canadian citizenship.
Oh, cool.
He played.
So he's just American to me.
He played
Yeah.
for the last.
From our 51st state.
He played
That's right.
both 2024 and 2025 summers with USL League Two. team.
Xavier's never gonna.
He's gonna hear this. But these fucking assholes. By the
Exactly.
way, we don't like him. We don't like the 51st state thing. It's a joke. It is occasionally funny though.
Kings Hammer Sun City.
What a name! Where is
Sun
that? Is that
City.
Florida? It's got to be Florida, right? Sun City.
All I can think of is
Yeah,
that
it's
song.
in Florida.
The song in the 80s.
It's got to be Tampa, right?
So,
Kings Hammer Sun City feels like Tampa. What was the song in the 80s, Jim?
I can't remember that. It was about apartheid, so it's probably.
Jesus.
Podcast is officially off
it
the rails.
was.
All right.
It was. I don't know what.
Jesus.
Let's.
Fucking hell.
There's a lot of good music made about sad things, I guess.
All right. Well, anytime you guys want to.
But welcome
Wanna come
to
back to
Xavier. I've liked that both of his penalties have been ice cold in penalty shootouts. He's made both of them. I love that he has some swag. I saw him in Philly, but I haven't seen him live other than Philly. I didn't get to see him play, obviously, but I got to see him. You kind of catch the player's aura a little bit, and I thought I'm excited. I'm excited that he's here. I am excited that he's come in all the games, meaning like that must mean he's training well and he's looking good and all those things. So, hell yeah, Xavier, time to get your first goal, first assist. He had a cross that was really, really good that could have been turned into something. So, yeah, I like it.
As best I can tell, the Kings Hammer Sun City program is based out of Lakeland and Auburndale, Florida.
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
So,
Lakeland.
kind of between. There was a great turnout of folks, family, friends, other former players,
In Orlando?
teammates in Orlando.
Yeah.
A massive crowd.
Actually, you or Jamie did mention to me that you thought that Xavier had more fans than at that game than Orlando did, and Orlando had some fans. They had like a chunk of people.
I was probably exaggerating a little bit, but
They were louder.
when he came on. They were loud.
Yeah.
because I did not know any of them were up there.
That explained because I was like, where? Because I figured we had a handful of people there, but I'm like, holy crap! Did half of Chattanooga go to Orlando on vacation? And
If you add up the folks that were there specifically for Xavier, then we had a very large crowd.
yeah, I mean, it sounded like.
By the way,
that was,
if they're there for Xavier or they're there for
it
us,
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Who,
Yeah,
why
correct.
They're there. Yeah, I mean,
Correct.
I was like, oh,
that's what.
I didn't expect to hear that.
So it was awesome.
And of course, what I always love is if you're watching the game on Next Pro, they always mention like our traveling support.
Always, every time.
And they did multiple times in that game, and I had no idea. That makes sense now that he had that big fan contingent.
I did. I'm pretty sure Mary and Ella and I and
I can always hear your damn voice. I'm like,
So I wasn't there this time, and I swear to you, I heard, "Oh, come on," from Matthew.
Yeah, I did raise my voice a couple of times. including once when Keegan got a yellow card for a great football tackle.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And I waited for a quiet moment after the fervor of asking for a red died down, just to yell out, "Let's clean tackle."
I wish. Wait a minute. Was that was on Apple, not on YouTube, right?
Probably.
Correct. It was on Apple.
Yeah. So again, here's my somewhat periodic request to make full match replays available on Apple, please.
Our last 2 home games have been on YouTube.
I know.
Full
That's why I
replays.
couldn't remember if this one was.
I watched the entire, after I got home from Romania, Matt and I watched the entire Crown Legacy game. Mm-hmm. And then
Because we're masochists.
I watched half of the Miami game. I need to watch the other half. I need to watch actually the whole Miami game. But yeah, it was
Yep.
it was nice. All right, Matthew, tell me about the man with the hardest name to read, maybe
Luke?
that we've ever signed.
Luke. It's pronounced Luke.
I don't know, man. It looks like Luke to me.
Luke Huzakuski.
Who's what?
Huzakuski.
Huzakuski. That may be that's an all name. That's an all name.
It's an all name name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an all name 11.
Hometown of Davidson, North Carolina. He went to Charlotte for his entire college career. He also has Canadian citizenship,
What is going on?
U.S. and Canadian dual. He played. He's
Like 1812.
He's a defensive midfielder, primarily for Charlotte. I think that's what he projects for us as well. He did play this past summer at Des Moines Menace.
Captained Des Moines Menace, I might
Captain
add.
Des Moines Menace. He was captain of Charlotte his senior year as well.
Love that. He is also a big boy,
He is a
He is.
very large boy.
A unit, as the
as the English say.
So he
Or
played,
some people might call him a brick shit house.
he played a bit more of an advanced role at midfield, kind of like based on the highlights, like a 10. And sometimes even like this kind of weird second 9 thing.
He did a lot of scoring at the back post.
Eight goals, 3 assists
In 12 games?
for 13 games. I later found out for Des Moines, who are always a very good,
Very good program.
very good program.
I saw him celebrating with the Des Moines fans behind that goal where they always congregate from when we went there.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Like he really played at Des Moines.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah,
all
yeah.
clicked. I don't think Chris Bermudez was there all last year, but he was the year before. It would have been cool if they overlapped, but I don't think they did.
I wonder if Pete Pearson went back this summer or not.
Ooh.
I don't know. But anyway, so adding Huzakuski to the group that was announced. Was that earlier this week? I think it was earlier this week or late last week.
What, Huzakuski?
Yeah.
That was this week.
Was it?
I think so.
All right. Well, I think we'll find out if he's available this weekend or not.
I
But
want
some more midfield depth.
I'm excited for this one. Obviously, we've already seen Xavier play, and he's gotten in games, as I said, so I'm glad to see him, whatever else. I'm excited for this one, too, because something that we didn't do was close out that game. And I don't know what's going to happen, right? But we don't have a physical, imposing player off the bench to come into midfield and to win headers, to win the ball, to whatever else. I'm excited to see what he brings. I mean, I have no idea how they're going to use him, but this feels like the kind of guy that could maybe give us a little bit of solidity in zone 5 to take gems, or zone 14. And watching his highlights, he looks to be really like a really cerebral player. He has a lot of give and goes and quick back heels and quick touches and forward through the line passes that are like very quick. And who knows? But I love that, and I hope that it bodes well, especially for finishing games, because those dropped points, it would be nice to drop less of them.
Drop fewer points.
Those two. Also, he's a big boy, and maybe he's a monster on set pieces, which would be sweet. I don't know. That's a total just like sizist thing to say, but
Sizist.
I'm hoping for some pace and power when it comes to
Pace and power.
set pieces from him.
All right.
Next, Matthew, is Anthony Garcia,
Yeah, we got another signing earlier this morning.
our third 22-year-old signing in a row. Which, we've got
youth movement.
the youth movement going on. Forward from Austin FC2.
Yeah, Anthony Garcia, 22-year-old from Riverside, California. He went to an NAIA school for the first couple years of college. Racked up a bunch of goals, bunch of assists.
As one does.
As one does in the NAIA. He then went on professionally to Santos Laguna, Liga MX, and he spent time with them in their U23 team as a kind of 19-year-old-ish, somewhere in there. Yeah, and then 2024, he signed with Austin FC on an ex-pro contract, which was a 2-year deal. He only actually spent really one season with them, 7 games, 1 goal. And then earlier this year, I think it was in April, the official noticed that he and Austin had parted ways. And I have no idea what he's done since then.
I
don't
assume
know.
he played somewhere this summer because most of these guys do.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything. It's a fairly common name, so like that makes Googling harder.
Yeah, we were talking about I can't find any highlights on him. I couldn't find any. But there's several Anthony Garcias with soccer highlights. So
Yeah, there's some stuff from his Mexico days.
did you text me that?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I didn't find anything. You should send it to our group chat after this, please.
So anyway, welcome Anthony.
Love it.
We'll see if he's available. We'll see if he's available this weekend. Usually these things wrap up a little bit before.
So we have
a little bit before they get announced.
2 forwards and a defensive midfielder. Do you think that? How do you think Anthony Garcia profiles from what you've seen? Is he a forward? Is he a winger?
So if Xavier Rimpel is a wide forward, Anthony is being classified as a forward. So I would say he can probably play the 9. Just a guess.
Do we read? Well, this may be.
Yeah, that's me reading into it. But
Do we read anything about Peter into that?
well, we haven't seen him in. This is a great, actually, mailbag.
I know. That's
tie-in.
why I said.
Yeah, we haven't seen Peter in a couple months now.
I know.
So I don't know what the status of Peter is at all.
That's what I
had
wondered
kind of-
if this was a.
We had kind of heard that it was going to be a couple months, and that couple months would have put us right around now-ish, later this month. Obviously, after the Huntsville game, we have a 2-weekend break. 2 weekends, no games. And then it's the final 5 matches of the season. So ideally, you'd get Peter back for those final 5, but I just don't. I can't promise you anything. I don't know. But I imagine this is partly to help with that, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we are there. Welcome, Anthony. In Xavier's case, in Xavier's case, in Anthony's case, and in Luke Husicki's case, all of them are signed through the end of the season with a club option on 2026.
There'll be big prove-it years for them.
So that's where we are on the new player signings. What are you doing, buddy? Checking on Toby?
Trying to see if Toby was trying to get out, but I don't think he is. Also makes us snoring audibly. Which is hilarious.
It's pretty fantastic, honestly.
Do we want to go straight to the mailbag from here?
I think we may as well.
Which would you like to take first?
Power rankings question.
Ask it to Jim.
It's a good palate cleanser.
Ask it to Jim.
Why?
Jim, Bill Ultra.
Because I know exactly what he's going to say, and I know what I'm going to say. I have no idea what you're going to say.
Power rankings, and I've got this quoted, but I'm also paraphrasing slightly. Power rankings, 8th. Why did they keep us there? Are we really a top 10 team? Or are they just doing this because they think it makes us happy as the only team with a large fan base?
Okay.
Which, first off, is such a rude way of asking that question.
All right, so I take them in order. Power rankings 8th. Why do they keep us? Well, question 1 and 3 kind of go together. So let me do 2. Let me do 2 first. Are we really a top 10 team? Absolutely not.
In the East.
Maybe yes, in the East. In the East, yes, we are. But in the league, no, we're not. We're not a top 10 team. So
Counterpoint: the Western Conference doesn't exist.
that's fine. I mean, you know what? I've never seen the Western Conference, so you may be right. I've never. So
Does it exist?
who knows?
You don't.
Who
You
knows?
don't. You don't watch the late night Portland Timbers 2 versus LAFC 2 games on YouTube.
No, I don't.
You should. It's a good time to go to sleep.
Yeah. So eighth, why do they keep our eighth? Why do they keep us there? And he says the answer in his last question. Yeah, I mean this is fan service. I mean it's all it is. It's
Hot
fan
take?
service.
I don't agree.
It's fan service.
Matthew?
That's fine. I mean what it doesn't make any sense to anyone who watches the league.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
You just take.
I agree.
You
We're
just take
same-
like the
same page.
You just take the total points. You
Okay.
you mash them in, and there we
Well,
are.
okay, yeah. Okay. All right.
Power rankings are dumb. They've always been dumb.
Yes, they are dumb.
Everyone does them for some reason, and
Power rankings exist exclusively to generate content.
Yes,
Yeah, correct.
it's fan service.
yeah.
Which is fine. I'm still going to retweet it.
I mean, we're so
I don't believe it for a second.
CFC's still gonna make a Instagram post about it every time.
Absolutely. I'm going to retweet it and give it a thumbs up and, a blue heart or whatever. Absolutely.
Got to keep the content mines rolling.
Exactly. Hashtag content.
Content mine's going. No, I couldn't agree more. I do think they're obviously trying to do some form of journalism where they're pushing us down towards the bottom of it to make it a little bit real. if it was simply an only fan service, they'd keep us at first, which actually would just be very rude.
Yeah.
Because we all have eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with Jim.
And the three people outside of the Chattanooga area that pay attention to that are shaking their head. But yes, fan service. Service us.
We talked about Ross's question already about anyone out injured. It's really Peter. It's Peter.
And it's a big one. This is a guy, don't forget, that we brought in as the National Player of the Year from D2. We believed he was going to be our starter. We believed he was going to score a lot of goals. And he came on unbelievably strong at the beginning after his injury. And then he had that little period where he was played, but maybe not 100%. I don't really know. And then he got hurt again, and he's been out. So, it's a problem. Yeah. And then obviously, Keegan got injured at the same time, which has put us down. And then,
Yes.
yeah, it's just a problem.
Yeah.
Let's take this Lee Sabo.
I know you have.
Let's
you
take
have
this-
an interesting take on.
Let's take this question at the end.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's a big picture question.
But I know you've got an interesting take on it, just as the direction of the teams in the league and what you can expect from them from beginning to end.
I moved it all the way to the bottom for ease of finding it.
Cool. Let's do the thing.
Bill Ottred says, I would like to discuss Ibarra leaving. We don't know all that's behind it, but we know we performed better. I'm going to have to come back to that part. Can you recap the numbers with and without him the past 2 years? Okay, fair. And I want an honest opinion regardless of what happened. Was it smart to let him walk? I'd like to start with this.
Start with what?
The end of it. Was it smart to let him walk? Reading the tea leaves here very clearly, you do not separate with a player if the team and the player are happy.
Right.
We haven't seen arrest reports or anything crazy, right? So we're going to assume there wasn't some giant thing that he did wrong where we disciplinary, and also we parted ways mutually. We didn't say we're releasing this player, right?
We didn't terminate the contract.
So and you look at how we've done some of our releases and mutual terminations and whatever else with front office people and whatever. You can read some into what happened. So from my perspective, it's very clear, I think, from my reading of the tea leaves, that he wasn't happy being here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have never been a place that kept somebody around that didn't want to be here unless they were just maybe we didn't know about it, a key member of the team that was playing every week, whatever else. Ibarra was not playing every week.
Yeah, he has 517 minutes in all comps.
And very clearly from my perspective and from some social media stuff and from some body language stuff, he wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And we all thought he was going to be a starter when he signed back. Mm-hmm. And so was it smart to let him walk? I can't imagine a scenario in which he's extremely unhappy, and it's smart for us to like make him stay, right? And also very clearly, since he like got announced 2 days later or whatever it was at Carolina Core, like he had an offer from them at some point. I bet he would pretend it was right after, but there's no way. I'm sure it was on the table, or at least a hey, we'd love to have you over here type of thing. And man, this is a job for guys. And I think it is smart to let anyone walk who really truly doesn't want to be here, as long as they're not like a key member of the team on the field. And it's a different conversation if they're like, look, if Eldon wants to walk and Eldon's our starting goalkeeper, like I'm using a random example, like that's one where you're like, please, Eldon, don't do that, right? Because like we really need Eldon. But if you're not a guy who's starting for us, like that player can, and maybe you just let Eldon go anyway if he really wanted to go. I'm just thinking like nailed on starters here. But he wasn't a nailed on starter. So you let somebody like that go, you let them walk. And
yeah, I can think of only one other reason why you wouldn't let someone go if they really wanted to go and they weren't a starter. They are young,
yes,
and they have value.
True. Very. Darwin Ortiz would be at one where you like, hey man, you're on a 3-year deal essentially. Like you're really good. Like you have a lot of high potential. Like we want you to continue to develop here. How do we fix this?
But even then, it's a challenge that you have to work. You have to work through because you're not. If they have value, they're not getting any value sitting on the bench, and they're going to be. So it's got to be really tricky. But if right here, like you said, this seems to be mutual. He wasn't starting. He wasn't happy. You don't really gain anything by keeping him here.
I will note,
and I liked Jesus a lot.
He did not even make the 20-man squad
the week before,
the weekend before,
and his departure. If you want to,
and that's the club telling him, you're not a part of it right now. You're not a part of the current kind of vision.
And also, like maybe that was the last straw. Like maybe he, who knows? Maybe he walked into the office and said, "I want out," and they said, "Cool."
Yeah.
Or I don't know how that went down. Maybe they went to him, but it's unlikely they went to him, right? Although we made some signings, so you never know. But most likely, in these situations, the club doesn't go and say like, "Hey, we want to release you," because players and agents that is like not cool. Normally,
I mean, the guy's got a valid contract, so
right. No, well, we have to pay it. But I'm saying like that's one of those situations that doesn't usually happen. It's usually the other way around. When you see somebody leave, especially in lower division American soccer, it's because that player wanted to leave for whatever reason. It's like if you remember the Medi situation, where like we know that Medi was like, "Hey, I'd kind of like to go look at other options," and we were like, "Hey, we're open to that if we can both find something that works for both of us." And then they parted ways, right? This feels like something pretty similar to me. Maybe without the like, if you find something, just like, hey, you want to leave? Cool. Have, best of luck, happy trails.
Yeah.
I hate that he went to a rival, but also like I want him to be happy. So I think that that's a good way to sum up the end of that. And that's for this season, because last season he played a lot. If Jesus wanted to leave middle of last season when he was essentially our most important like offensive player outside of Medi, like,
That'd been a red flag.
I would have been like, whoa, hey, like you can't let this guy go. Like he's like you got to figure this out,
Can I talk about like the
numbers,
the unseemly business of business for a second?
Sure.
Jim alluded to this earlier. Players in professional soccer, even when they don't make a lot of money, players are still assets.
Yep.
Now, in Jesus' specific case, he was signed originally on an 18-month deal in the summer of 2023. That covered his first half season when we were in Nisa. That covered the 2024 MLS Next Pro season. He was then out of contract. He then signed a contract in November, December, whenever it was, for a one-season, no-option deal, which means, for 2025, which means that this is a player who we thought would be a starter, would be a regular contributor, who had only played 517 minutes in all competitions. And in case you're curious, how many were available in that time as of the Orlando game. So knock a little bit off. But as of the Orlando game, we have played 2,130 minutes in all comps. So he's playing a quarter of the minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We all thought he was going to be a starter.
He's got 8 games left essentially on his contract, excluding the playoffs. So, like, in fact, I assume he's not happy, right? He doesn't have long on his contract. You don't have an asset there, realistically, to sell or to do whatever. Like, it's not working. The player wants to go. I have no problem letting him go. I don't give a shit that he went to Carolina Core. Good for him. Like, that's... Players got to go where the player wants to go and can go. And holding on to the player to prevent him from going to Carolina Core or going literally anywhere else, it's beneath us. So
Yeah, it's just not good business. It's like you said, it's just not good business to do that. I mean,
Also, you treat players well, and we
absolutely,
do treat players well. And holding him up from leaving would have been doing him a disservice.
So on the numbers specifically, 7 goals, 3 assists.
This is where it gets interesting. Last year versus this year, I know you and I have similar takes on this. I don't know Jim's opinion, but like it's a very different. These are two very different seasons to compare.
7 goals, 3 assists last year in Next Pro in hard numbers. This year, just a goal and an assist. That's it. If you dig into the underlying data, Jesus was our best winger. We have good data. We have good underlying data for 2024 and 2025. Jesus.
Well, it's not a lot of minutes from this year, but
Unfortunately, no. But Jesus 2024 data is the best per 96 minutes per game, per game winger that we had in the underlying data, either this year or last year.
and the eye test
that
shows that, right?
That makes sense.
Now, I will also mention that last year, even though he was our best on paper and in the eye test, he exceeded his expected goals by quite a bit.
Yeah, he was running about double.
He was going to come back to earth probably on some level. That 7-3 probably should have been like 4-3.
Yeah, about 4 and 2.
And like, I'm not trashing him. Like, you finished the goals that you finished. Like, he was really, and he was excellent in possession last year.
You don't win or lose games on XG. So.
Exactly. But like, there was he was not going to extrapolate that out probably this year into playing the same way into 14 goals and 6 assists, as an example, if he played double the minutes. It was more likely to be, a muted haul.
And if he had done 14 goals and some assists, he would have left us also. But
that man would have been in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, when I say the best of the 2 years in terms of wingers, his XG plus XA is just slightly off in a nice little cluster with Taylor and Keegan. His G plus American Soccer Analysis G plus ratings has him pretty clear in a way the best, and that makes sense. Jesus, possession player, CFC 2024 possession team.
Yep.
G plus loves possession.
Also,
just in general,
I wanna start with that. I think the biggest change last year to this year, which is I think probably one of the questions here, or maybe it's not one of the questions, but it is kind of the point of this, like past 2 years, this year versus last year. Like, we played with the ball last year. Rod, possession lover, control lover, right? Said on this podcast, like, whether I thought it was the best way to win or not, and I do think it's the best way to win, I care about control more than anything else, so I want to control the outcomes. Jesus, when you have the ball, look at what we did against Carolina Core, look what we did this year, look what we did last year with the ball. Jesus does amazing things with the ball. Not the greatest athlete, not the fastest, incredibly technical, very good brain, a lot of really good stuff. He did so much hold up. There was a point I think Matt made on this podcast talking about how much hold up play he did on the wing. He was like a hold up winger where you'd play it out to him and get some possession and work it around, and then he would make the pass or make the triangle or whatever else. We don't have the ball this year.
Yeah, 55% possession in 2024. This year we're tracking right around 40. That's a 15% loss of possession. It takes us from 9th in the league last year to 29th this year.
That is fucking insane. First of all, and that is not a value judgment that like we're playing the wrong way this year, we're playing the right way last year, because possession without penetration is just masturbation, as a former coach, Peter Fuller, shout out, used to say. So you can't just look at possession and be like, because also we're a better team this year. I think Matt and I both believe this year overall. I actually don't know how Jim feels about that statement, but I think this year we're a better team overall, even with less possession, right? But I come down to like, this is a fundamentally different player without the ball. If you are asking a guy who's pressing and defensive ability to run and ability to get out on the break, if you're playing long over the top, like none of those things are Jesus' game.
Yeah.
And that is what is asked of a winger in Chris Nugent's system a lot of the time now this year. And so while he was useful in some little spurts, this year was just not for Jesus. This is not if we were playing with Rod as the coach, he was the perfect Rod player. If we were playing with Rod as the coach, it's a different thing. I think it's really easy, at least from my perspective, to look at it and go, well, Jesus just doesn't fit this. And so that's why I'm not pulling my hair out at the loss, like a loss of the player, because I haven't seen the fit. I haven't seen the system work well for him when he's come in. Like, sure, he's had some good moments, but like it hasn't been the same player. In part because we don't have the ball. He's not constantly recycling, beating a guy, holding the ball, like playing a pass. Like it's just a whole different game model this year. And this year versus last year, just two drastically different things.
Yeah. I mean,
look, his best moments of this year are as a false nine. This is a guy who's a winger.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, it didn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work. And sometimes really good players don't fit. Actually, a lot of times when players at this level don't perform to expectations, oftentimes they just don't fit. And they fit other places, and that's okay. That's part of it.
I think Carolina Core plays with the ball more than we do.
Yeah, they're right around 48%.
They hold the ball more than we do. Not a ton more than we do. It's only an extra
6%.
Oh,
because we're actually at 42. I just checked.
Okay, so it's quite a bit more than us, but they hold the ball more. They at times like really. I watched his part of his debut. I think he'll fit there a lot better. Mm-hmm. I don't think CFC fans should despair when they look at him. Let's say he goes and scores another goal and has another assist, or another 2 goals, another assist before the end of the season. They're like, look what we missed out on. This system does not exalt the Jesus player that we had last year. I don't think he's a different player. I think he's mostly the same player, but I think the way we're playing doesn't work for him. I think obviously the environment, he wasn't happy anymore just based on him leaving. And I don't think there was a way to fix that because we're not going to play with the ball this year. And in the games that we did play with the ball and we brought him in, like he was useful, been good, but we don't have many of those games. And that's not the way we're winning games either.
Yeah. Next.
You want me to do Ross's question next?
I was going to do the last thing.
Sure.
Just to like put a bow on it. We mentioned that 2024 Jesus was our best winger in terms of goals added last year and this year. In terms of goals added, sample size is a little bit small, minutes wise, but this year's numbers, he's the worst, and it's not close from the last 2 years. So like, obviously something's not working, right?
Yep. Back to I did the eye test. You're doing the stats test of the same theory.
Yeah. But like we all saw it. Like if you ask a player to be defensive, an offensive possession-minded player, you ask them to be defensive 60% of the time. Like you're going to get what you're going to get. And that's sometimes you got to decide if you want to, if it's the player's fault or if it's your fault for putting the player in positions to do things they can't do. And so anyway, happy trails.
Yeah, happy trails. Truly happy trails. Good luck. I hope you don't score against us. And all the other games, I hope you do well. Okay. Ross asked a very fun question. Not very fun question, but a good question. What impact do you think these summer swoons have on season ticket renewals?
Hey, speaking of season ticket renewals, if you check your inboxes for the season ticket holder survey, that is extremely useful for folks in the front office to figure out doing things. They want to hear from you. Now's a good chance to respond to them. because your voice matters. That being said, I don't know. We haven't started them yet. I'd be curious about data.
They have started them. I mean, they may not be charging people, but they're
Oh yeah, they're about to.
they're starting because I
Yeah.
got emails and then a phone call the other day.
Yeah, I've been harassed.
So I think this summer swoon has got to be tough on season ticket renewals. I do think that your
it can't be great, but
I do think your diehards, like we're us sickos are going to renew no matter what, right? And there's a big chunk of us that are just going to renew because this is our thing.
Also,
I think
prices didn't go up.
so.
Third year running.
And honestly, truly, like that's really good and really cool. And I think that will be helpful to getting some people to renew, especially because you've said it before, but season tickets are basically stealing. Like it's such a good deal in comparison
They are
to day
stealing.
I have to think though, people who are like casuals that bought their first season ticket last year, like if you're in the Chatahooligans, probably not. But if you're sitting at midfield and you bought a season ticket and we're in the middle of a 10-game like winless streak, like this cannot be a great time to have this ticket rep call and you be like, hey, you want to renew for next season? Like it can't be, man. It can't.
I mean, it can't. It can't be great. But I wonder. A lot of our fan base, we've always had a fan base who is really not like, are they really soccer fans or are they fans of Chattanooga and a night out in entertainment? I mean, and this is something that they enjoy doing. Like the Lookouts, comparing, I've just lost all of my lower league soccer people when I compare Division III to minor league baseball.
You mean Division III to Division III?
But I mean, like people go to the Lookouts to be with the people, to be with friends, to go out and sit out and have a good time and watch a game. If they're the worst team in the Southern Conference, I don't know. I really wonder how much it impacts. It impacts, and I don't know if it will have as big of an impact as
if you surveyed every single person in Chattanooga, I would wager fewer than 10 could tell you what the Lookouts record is,
right?
Plus or minus 5,
right? Yeah, I can't, and I'm a baseball fan, so I just don't know if it's hard for me to put the get in the mind of the casual fan who comes and enjoys CFC, like. We had that one game where 10,000 people showed up, right? And where are those 10? Why do they come to that game and they don't come to any other game? I mean, because it was an event, and I don't know that like I definitely don't think the league has any impact. NISA versus Next Pro versus if we were in USL. I mean, I don't think that would have a big impact. So I don't really know. It can't help, but I don't know how much it really hurts.
The only thing I'll point out is that people buying season tickets are diehards or more diehards. So I feel like those people probably care more about the record than maybe people just looking for a night out.
But what are they going to? But if they're diehard CFC, what are they going to do? What are you going to do? I mean, I don't understand a diehard CFC fan saying, "Oh, they're not winning. Well, now I'm going to leave." I mean, you weren't a diehard CFC fan. I mean,
That's a good point.
I mean, I just don't. I don't know how much. Like I said, it can't help. I wouldn't project a 20% increase in season tickets after this, but I also don't think I would project a 20% decrease.
Do you like being sad with your friends? Boy, I have a night for you.
So I think I've said.
But I mean, you're in the crowd and we lose the game and we draw a game. You leave it. We're not a. You don't. It's not like leaving other sporting events where your favorite team has lost. I mean, I see still. It's. I don't know. I just don't think it. I would be very interested to see the data because I would not be surprised if it didn't have as big an impact as a lot of people think it would.
The point of sports is being sad in large groups. As my friend Eric Schmitz likes to say.
It's the friends that we make along the way.
It is more about community than anything else, for sure.
So I really don't know. I would love to know the data. And there may be people out there screaming listening to this thing, Jim, you're an idiot. Of course it's going to hurt. But I mean, like attendance is slightly down this year.
Yeah, but
I don't really know.
There's a lot less. I think that's pretty easily explained from my perspective. From less fireworks, we had a lot more fireworks last year. Less fireworks, also less fireworks. Both. Fewer nights with fireworks. Fewer nights with big like events surrounding it, and I think that's the biggest difference. And then we've had some brutally hot and some rain as well. Okay.
But again, I would love to know. Hey, if you're in the FO and you want to
tell Jim, don't tell me.
Like DM me some stuff. I mean, because I really don't know.
Tell Jim, don't tell me. I don't want to know if our season tickets are down. That'll make me sad. I don't need any more sadness. Okay, next pro news. I'm excited about this question. I'm actually
But this is kind of this question and the last question are kind of very similar.
Season 2 is starting to look like a lot like Season 1 for CFC. Thoughts on what is going on and what needs to happen to stay above the playoff line?
By the way, this is also a little bit of the Lee Sabo question.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
So I think let's just lump it all in right now.
Yeah.
Okay. In the Lee Sabo questions, are we always going to be a first half of the season team? Do you think there's a reason why that might be? I don't remember if Sebastian said this on or off the podcast, but he said something to the effect when we did our first podcast that they really wanted to have a very, very hot start to the year and good start to the year. They got guys in early and built the roster quickly. Not quickly. They tried to get as much of the roster done as early in preseason as possible so that the guys had the best chance to start the year as well as possible, so that we could continue to pick up points, so that if we had a midseason swoon, not that he was saying when we have one, but if we have one, we're in better position because we will have picked up more points early before these teams really come together, before they find their rhythm, before these players level up. Matt and I have talked so much about the age curve, and he doesn't fully agree. I think he agrees with parts of what we think about the age curve, but I think he sees it a little differently than we do.
Have we talked about the age curve here on the show?
Let's talk about it now. I mean, we've talked about it. Matt and I have talked about it ad nauseum, but it bears repeating here. So when you have 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old players as examples, those players, as a season goes on, are going to get better because they are growing and changing as young men and as young athletes and as young players. And so there is a thing that happens. Not only do they become better teams, which most teams become better, hopefully, throughout the season by playing together and whatever else, but these players spend time training with the first team. They spend time just becoming a lot better players, and they start like making their way sometimes into the first team from the second team. But it's this developmental curve that happens, and it happens in particular because of age. Because a 17, 18, 19-year-old player is much different usually than a 22, 23, 24-year-old player, or especially than a 24, 25, 26-year-old player. And all these teams really do this like thing where they're like coasting along at the beginning, and maybe they have a bunch of downs and like an occasional up, but they're making mistakes. And then they just start doing magic as the season goes on. They start playing really well together, and these players just level up. And you saw it this year with Stevie for us, who the first like 7 games of the season or so didn't really play much, was kind of like looked a little shaky here and there. And then he like exploded, where he had like 5 straight games where he was like, oh shit, this is the guy. And then obviously I don't know what's happened the last little while. That's a young player thing, but that's a developmental curve thing that can happen. We've seen with Darwin where he's like kind of come in and started playing a bit and then come in and come out. But that's a young player thing where they can really improve as the season goes on.
And what was his reaction to that?
I think Sebastian doesn't think that it's all about the age curve. He thinks it's also about time spent together as a team. So they don't, at the beginning of the season, they're half of them are training with the first team, training with the second team, and so they're not even like together except on game day. And then he thinks like, and I'm sorry, Sebastian, if you listen to this and I'm bastardizing your view, but like they spend a lot more time as the season goes on together because the group becomes much more congealed. They spend time together and like really know who's going to play on the second team. They also like just do get better, which he agrees. And then a lot of times like guys will eventually get just relegated to the second team and spend more time with. I think that's like more of his.
It's a very interesting thesis. I've heard you say it several times, and you've said things like, to compare it to the USL family of leagues, like the league starts off at a mid League One level,
like mid to bottom,
and
League
then
One, but like with the ball,
right? And by the end of the season,
it's playoff lines, it's home playoff game championship level,
right? And so I've heard you say that a lot, and it's a very interesting thesis. I don't know how you could. I mean, it'd be very interesting to have somebody try to kind of piece that together and really look at it, because it's I mean, it makes sense. the only problem I have is that maybe this reinforces the point now that I'm thinking about it, because our performances have basically stayed the same. Our results have varied.
It makes sense. We're the oldest team in Next Pro again.
So we're a known quantity.
Our average age is like 25.
So
altogether.
I'd be interested to see if that's the case. What that looks like. Like the match, I haven't done.
So it's overly reductive, but I think there's a big kernel of truth to the idea that like our average age is 25. Therefore, our average player is the player they're going to be.
Yeah, I think 27 is probably. 26 is the peak.
So 24 to 28, you're certainly changing, but the exponential changes that happen when you're 18, 19, 20 aren't likely to happen. And so there's exponential changes. So if you have 20 guys on a roster who are all between the ages of 17 and 21, a certain chunk of those guys, because they're really talented and they're like, are going to exponentially change during the season for some of these teams. And they're going to become the starters and they're going to have like this really high level of performance in comparison maybe to the beginning of the season. Whereas, and something we talked about when we signed Stevie and when we signed Omzi, who's been hurt all season, but is kind of come back a little bit. When we signed Darwin and like gave him a longer deal. When we haven't actually talked about it, but I'll say like when we sign some 22-year-olds instead of signing 26-year-olds, like there's a thing that can happen now with some guys that we have where we can grow a little bit as the season goes, because there's a few less like known quantities. But I think we started out really heavy and hard and well. And granted, we won some games we shouldn't have, but like our performances were that of a veteran team who knew how to win, who knew how to not make giant errors that led to losses that were self-inflicted towards the beginning of the season. And I think there's a reason we picked up so many points last season early and this season early, because those teams, when you're, this is now we're talking really from Andrew's point of view, and not anybody else's, but when you're 19 years old and you're playing central defender against a 25-year-old striker, that's a grown-ass man. And if you're 19, maybe there are 19-year-old grown-ass men playing soccer. There are also 19-year-olds who are still kids. And there's 17-year-olds and there's 16-year-olds in this league too. Right. And some of those kids are going to make really naive choices in moments. And these teams are going to put the ball down and play with those 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds and also 15 and 16-year-olds occasionally. And they're going to play those games and they're going to go like, this is about development. They want to win. They're trying to win. The idea they're not trying to win is crazy. But they're also really trying to develop better soccer players. These are reserve teams. So we're out there, we only care about winning, right? Like, we want to develop some players along the way, but we want to win. Some of these teams don't care too much if they win or lose. Winning is secondary, development is first. So some of those 17-year-olds that are playing center back are going to make a mistake or haven't played against a grown man to start the season out. And so we're going to hit them right in the mouth. And we're going to like give them like that men's league thing where you play against, and I see it at Highland Park all the time. You'll have a team full of like 30-year-olds versus a team full of high schoolers. And like the high schoolers are better players and better athletes, but the team of 30-year-olds kills them because like grown men know how to do like, handle
every
themselves.
YMCA basketball
It's every
court you've
YMCA
ever seen in your life.
And like, obviously like that doesn't perfectly explain everything, right? But I think it's
because
factor.
Cleveland still exists, I mean, they're terrible. They beat us 3-0, but they're
Huntsville, you mean?
No.
Columbus.
Oh, Columbus.
Sorry, Columbus.
Cleveland's funnier. Cleveland's funnier.
Sorry.
So that
Columbus still exists.
But also, we weren't that bad in that game. We were bad in a couple moments, and we let it get away from us at the end.
But they have like 11 points. I mean, I don't know, 13 points.
Right.
So.
They're terrible, but they have a lot of talent.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's a very qualitative kind of thesis. I mean, it's intriguing and it explains the last two seasons. It would be interesting to see because I think you and I talked about this a little bit on the Slack, not the Slack. We don't do Slack anymore, but the whatever the kids do, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Discord.
Thank you. The Discord. I'm 54 years old, so the Discord thing about or I said we need to change the way we approach maybe player recruitment, and do we need to go younger to get better? Do we need to?
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
keep that thought going.
I want to go there. I also want to point out, like, I don't know if you're going here. This league is batshit crazy. The team in first place has 51 goals scored for and 42 allowed. They have a 9-goal goal difference, and they're in first place by 3 points. It doesn't make any sense. Philadelphia and Huntsville, very fucking good. Theirs make perfect sense. And then you go down the league, the team in fifth place is 33 and 24 with a 9-goal difference. Like, they're tied with us on points, but they have 2 more games in hand they can still play. Like, this league just makes...
MLS Next Pro is the Murphy's Law of soccer leagues.
Chaos league.
It's pure chaos. Because anybody can beat anybody on any night.
Anything that can happen will happen. This league allows more can happen.
Yes.
To happen, which produces wild stuff. The XG in this league, I would wager, and I'm gonna be right because I'm always right. The combined
add that to your drink. Add that damn thing to your drinking game right there.
Because I'm right.
Yeah,
the combined
cirrhosis is inevitable.
The combined XG from an average MLS Next Pro game is going to be higher than every other pro league in the United States.
Well, that's easy.
Without a doubt.
I mean, you can do that.
We should figure that out. You can figure that out. We'll do that in the offseason.
Well, we could just go on.
We should look at the cumulative XGs too for the past few seasons.
But when you have higher cumulative XG, it produces the ability, the potential for the wider range of outcomes.
Sure.
Yes.
Right.
And so something that last year happened that Matt brought up that I fully agree with, that first half where we were running hot, but we were also just winning. Some of what happened is we kept the ball and we did not allow, using defensive possession, other teams to have as many opportunities to do chaos.
They still outshot the hell out of us, though.
Not at the beginning, they didn't.
Yeah, not as much at the beginning. And there were a lot of like lower probability chance shots. So what we were trying to do last year, and it worked until it didn't.
It worked until the league leveled up, which was like, I think, an age curve thing.
We were trying to let as little potential for chaos happen. Our games in that, especially in the first half of the year, those first 14 games, our games had less cumulative XG, us and our opponents, than
all the other
the
games.
rest of the league.
So our
we
games
were trying
we were
to
letting,
limit stuff from ever happening, and that included like stifling our own attack.
So we were creating very little the first part of the year, but we were also allowing very little in comparison to what everybody else was allowing.
Yeah.
So we had just a low frequency of. If you have 30 shots in a game that have a cumulative XG of 2 goals, or you have 10 at 2 XG, like that 30, there's so much more that can happen because just one of them has to go in, right? We were allowing 10 shots at 2 XG or whatever. But then other games, there was 30 at 2.5. I mean, it was just these huge, and I'm not quite, but my point being is there was a lot less, we were not allowing other teams to have a bunch of opportunity. And then in the middle of the season, league levels up, we start getting overrun in the midfield. And then there was way more happening, and other teams just started scoring on us and doing the thing. This year, we're not at all doing that same thing because we're not controlling the chaos, I don't think. I think the teams are still
trying to ride the chaos.
Teams are still getting a lot. We rode the Eldon train for the first 10 games of the season where he was just unbelievable. And our guys, like, in the moments, same as last year, in the right moments, the beginning of the season, they made the play. And the other team, before they like leveled up, before they figured it out, before they gained confidence, whatever you want to say, they did not make the play in the key moments. Now, different from last year, though, first half versus second half, now we are having performances where we are the better team, stats-wise and even eye test-wise, in some of these games of the last 10, as an example. But the ball's not going in.
Yeah.
So last year, we were and we didn't have a 10-game slide. We had a 4-game losing slide, and then we had like 3 games, whatever.
It was 6 without a win, but a 4-game losing stride.
And during that period, though, and we had some periods there where we then actually got some wins in the little offs, but we were getting soundly and roundly beaten in most of those games. We weren't having very many like, wow, we played okay, or we came back from like the Miami game where we stormed back in the second half. We weren't having these like second halves where we were like turning it around. And there's a problem right now, obviously, where we are either a first half team or a second half team. If I was going to insert my own listener question here, I'd want to know like, why can we only play one good half of soccer?
Yeah.
It's either first half or second half. You only get to pick one. You can't pick both. And so on one hand, I look at it and I'm like, oh man, the coaching staff's making good adjustments in the second half of this game to make us
good
better.
In the second half, yeah, but if we're good in the first
But if we're
half,
good in the first half, then they're unable to make whatever adjustment. Like, so I don't know what to do with any of that. Right. But I do think, like, are we going to continue to be a first half team?
First half of the season.
Sorry. Yes, first half of the season team. Yes, I do think that is the case.
Unless we radically change the model in which we build this thing.
We do not have, and I do not want. I don't think this podcast wants. In fact, I know this podcast does not want a parent team. I do not want to be beholden to anyone else, right? There is a disadvantage to not having a parent team, however, because you look at guys who go to a 2-team look at Christian Kofi as an example, who is a French player who played for Fiorentina's reserves. He went to Chicago, and then he went to, I know where he played. He went to Chicago, and then he went to Huntsville. And he is currently probably, for my money, the best player in the league. Definitely the best player in the East. Overall, like individual player. He is unbelievable. That guy is probably not coming here under any circumstances because he's a 24-year-old player who believes he should be in MLS. He probably is good enough to be. If he was domestic, he'd already be there. They have the carrot of first-team soccer and Nashville to dangle in front of him. Now, does he realize they're probably lying to him because he's international and they're not going to let him play? Probably, but that's a thing that has long been a case. But we don't have that carrot. We also don't have the carrot for 19-year-olds who think they should be still in MLS or making the MLS roster. We don't have the first-team ability. So we struggle with recruitment there, and I think that's why I'm convinced that that's why you see an older age profile for us. It's also where we can and should differentiate ourselves on part of our roster. Because no teams are going to overlook Tate because of his age, not because of his quality. And they're dumb for that. Tate's been one of the best right backs. I don't know what the numbers look like, but like very clearly for us, one of the best right backs in the East. Maybe the best right back in the East. He's probably been our best player this year. Actually, not probably. He's been our best field player this year. And he's been a revelation of someone who was here, went to League One, and came back. He's not going to get a look. And we absolutely have to, this is an offseason conversation, but exploit those gaps where these MLS teams are not looking at the right guys sometimes. We also have to have the ability to level up during the season age-wise and developmental curve-wise. And I think we did some of that this year, and that's probably some of the reason why we haven't been as bad in the middle of the season statistically wise. I think our stats are a little better this middle of the season. But also, quite frankly, on an individual player basis, we don't have the same talent as a lot of these teams. That doesn't mean we have to be a worse team because the most talented team doesn't always win. But recruitment-wise, it is really tough. And we don't have this huge, sprawling academy in a giant metro area that is trying to have guys play in MLS. We're just building and doing things from a different thing. We're running a different race than everyone else. Does that mean we can't win? No. Does that mean we can't eventually be competing for titles in this league? I don't think that, actually. I think we can eventually be competing for titles. But we're going to have to do it differently than all of these MLS 2 teams are doing it.
And all of that comes before something that we really can't talk about because we don't know, and that's the money and budget side of things.
Yes. How many? I mean, there's a guy we know there's a guy in Chicago because he came out on the MLS list, right, of players of money that he's making.
We have access through the MLS Players Association to what their guaranteed contract or what their guaranteed compensation is for the year. And those
Not
are
for MLS Next Pro.
Those are full year numbers. That's MLS Players Association only. MLS contracts.
So that's basically 9 guys on every MLS Next Pro roster, essentially.
It's not quite, but sometimes it's more. So I'll take Atlanta right off the top of my list right here. Atlanta has 8 guys on my original list that are on first team contracts. I can see their guaranteed compensation according to the MLS Players Association. 8 contracts. These are guys that have been mostly MLS Next Pro players. Now there are some distinctions here because of the kind of the transient nature of this league. You've got guys on MLS contracts. You've got guys on MLS Next Pro contracts. You've got guys on academy contracts through MLS Next. I only can see the contract information for guys on first team deals. And sometimes they split time And so you'll play a little bit with the second team, you'll play a little bit with the first team. But like the way that I did this was looking at guys that I would consider making up roughly a 25 or 26 man roster. And so Atlanta had 8 of them. Those 8 players, they've got 7 now because one got traded to Montreal. But those 8 players accounted for $723,000 of salary spent.
It's a lot of money.
That includes housing, which like I don't think MLS really does. And if they do, it counts as a part of your compensation package. The value of it does. So like,
and lower division soccer, housing is generally provided by
usually in 2 separate blocks is how I always look at it. So, but put that aside, because a lot of these guys have to go figure it out on their own at that level. $700K in 8 guys. Do the math. That is orders of stratosphere more than
the average player.
Traditional lower division soccer. There's a great little article. There's a great little article that.
What's it called again? I'm going to put it in the show notes.
From the Union Report. It's the Monterey Bay Union. They're in USL Championship on the West Coast. They did an anonymous interview with an agent that does a lot of soccer, including lower division soccer.
I haven't read this yet. I'm excited to read it. I am going to put it for the big old nerds in our
it's in your text
show notes. I just found it.
Okay.
It's on Medium, the confidential part 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like it's got some rough averages for certain classifications for players in USL Championship and USL League One. We don't know what any of this looks like in Next Pro. There's only 2 independent teams, but like that there's a whole money side of this that the powers that be will also have to figure out. And look, like we knew back in our NISA days, and I'm thinking like when Detroit was there, Cosmos were there, Cal United was there, that we were very low on the spend side. And what I don't know is where are we now? And I think that matters in all of this, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the part that soccer that no one really wants to talk about. Like, I know Louisville spends a lot of money on players. They've been really good every single year of their existence. Like,
yeah.
They have a shiny new stadium.
Yeah.
Like, they spend money on players. I don't have to tell you. I knew that Memphis didn't. I knew Memphis were poor. You can still win being poor, right? You have to have a plan.
So to put all of that kind of together, we're going to be a first half team as long as we are trying to be a little older and a little more experienced. And if this is the part that could change, and if our talent level is not as high as some of these other rosters, where so something that can happen too during the season is, let's say that like the beginning of the season, an MLS team is using some of those supplemental roster spots, those last 10 or so on their 30-man roster of their MLS team. They're using them on their MLS team a bunch at the beginning of the season because they haven't brought in DPs, because they haven't figured out their whole roster, because they don't have as many whatevers. They got injuries, whatever it is. They have absences. So those players may play with that first team a bunch, or be on the bench, especially for the first team a bunch at the beginning of the season. And then towards the end of the season, as those MLS teams really figure out who they are and they figure out their thing, they may then just relegate those players who are full-time MLS players, like good players, just to the 2 team. That can also explain some of the change in the season. If we are a more talented than the average team in MLS, Next Pro, if we are more talented than the median, we will probably cease to be only a first half team. We may be a little hotter in the first half because we spend a longer preseason together, where these teams, by the way, my understanding is another thing Sebastian, I think, said is like preseason is going to vary massively between these teams. So some of the teams are going to spend time altogether in preseason. A lot of them are going to spend time like with the first team.
Or the MLS guys go down to Florida or Arizona, and some of the 2-team guys are left with the academy.
Exactly. So like they don't spend all. So we're gonna if we do it right, we're always gonna start out a little hotter because we're gonna hopefully be a little more ready than everybody else. But if we're more talented than the median, our second half performances should much more closely mirror our first half performances. If we are less talented than the median team, which no disrespect to our current team, but I think is pretty clear last year and this year, we are less talented overall than the median. that pushes us towards the end of the season as these teams come together, become better teams, age profiles and age curves change, and teams gel, and more players get added that push better players down. We're just going to be less competitive as the season goes on. That doesn't have to be forever the case, but in year 1 and year 2 it has been. I think those explain most of the reasons why, or at least the large percentage of them. We're going to have to change how we do things because we want to compete for titles.
Yeah.
This is a whole new league. We are the one of 2 independents. Are a lot more independents going to come in over the next while that change the makeup of this? Are we going to change how we do things? I think going into the next question, it makes a lot of sense here.
Before you do that, because the original thing I was going to interrupt Jim for was interesting on the age stuff. So we talked about, like, do we change any of the age profile stuff over time? We actually got a little bit younger this year compared to last year, right? 28 players are on this roster right now. As of today. Jesus Christ.
It's just snoring.
28 players are on the roster right now for CFC men. We've signed 4 players since the beginning of June, right? Gavin Turner, Anthony Garcia, Luke Kuski, and Xavier Rimpel. Those 4 guys are all in the youngest 8 players of those 28 on the roster. So
18, 22, 22, 22, 22. No, 18, 22, 22, 22.
yeah.
3 22-year-olds and an 18-year-old.
So, like, of our now youngest 8 players, we've added 4 of them in the last 2.5 months. So I think there's also, like, in real time, a concerted effort that we get what we started out doing last year and also like this year is not like we have to change the makeup a little bit.
Yep.
And next year is a next year problem, and we'll get there on the Monday after decision day or after a playoff game. And maybe, hopefully, after a final.
We're at an hour and 40 minutes.
These poor people.
But like that's a later problem because I would imagine that we get a little bit younger again.
I would think so. So I want to drive this into lots of late season signings with their contracts. Are these in hopes boys might work with the CFC2 team and see if they are players that will come back next year with us, or will we not see drop downs like that? How's that going to work? There's another question about the 2 team here, which is what is currently known about the CFC2 team in UPSL. I saw they're playing in the first division and not the Premier League. Any word on the grounds coaches? That's from Philip Farrell. First one's from Bill Ottred.
CFC2, this is not public, but like they're telling players. So I'm just going to say it. Like CFC2 has been delayed till the spring. I don't think they had enough. I don't think they were comfortable with the amount of players / the quality of the level they want that group to be at. And so they're going to push it back till the spring season to get there. It's my understanding, and I could be wrong, but it is my understanding that players on professional contracts cannot simultaneously play in an amateur league like that.
It's my belief as well.
I would love to be corrected if I'm wrong.
I would love to be wrong.
I have espoused a different statement, I think, on this podcast before.
Yeah.
But I am pretty sure that pro players are not allowed to. I would love to see a world where they are. It makes sense. If you look at it, like we have a professional first team, we have an amateur second team, we have an academy we have a grassroots academy that's doing things. We are now starting the MLS Next side at the younger age profiles there. I would love to have a bridge between the academy and the first team. That's what the 2 teams for. Not just for, well, especially for good academy players that fall outside of our MLS Next window as we progress up those age groups. But also for the local player, whether they came out of high school or college and they want to keep playing and keep giving themselves a chance. We want to see that. We want to see it. Like, look, that's a 28-man roster right now.
Yeah.
You have 20 players in the
home and 18 on the road.
Right. So like we've got 2 goalkeepers that have 0 minutes this year on that first team. Like, you would hope that you could play some of those goalkeepers
100%.
in the second team. I don't know how they're going to make that work, or what they have to do other than like schedule a bunch of friendlies all the time. Like, there are ways around this, and if UPSL is not a great option, I would recommend going the way of kind of what we are doing for the Grassroots Academy, and that's putting together our own damn league and call up the folks in Birmingham at Birmingham Legion. Call up the folks, with Tennessee Tempo and, some of these other clubs from around the area, and organize your own 2-team league to get reserve minutes and stuff like that.
Shout out Tennessee Tempo, former CFC player Bongo,
Yeah.
Nathaniel Badai. You can listen to him. I think it's episode 9 or 11. I can't remember. Anyway, if you go back on iTunes, which is the only place you'll find it, if you go back on iTunes and you go way back, it is in our first 12 or 13 episodes. There's a Nathaniel Bongo Badai. I highly recommend it. It's a great episode. Not because we did a particularly good job, but because Nathaniel Badai's story is phenomenal, and he is one of the coolest guys of all time, and he's the captain of that team. And he played against us the last 2 preseasons, and man, what a guy. I also want to point out, we had kind of like a long conversation there about how we're quote unquote not good enough, or why we're not good enough. First of all, I do think we can compete with a lot of these teams on any day, so get me to the playoffs and let's fuck around and find out.
We have competed. I mean, again, the 2 games against Philadelphia may be the 2 best performances we've had,
and
they're one of the best. They're one of the better teams in the East. Maybe the league.
We've also snuck through and beat Huntsville twice.
Yeah,
and they are, for my money, the best team in the East. I hate to say that, but I do believe, I've watched them a lot. I think they are the best team in the East. They don't always put it together.
I mean, knockout soccer, you never know.
You never know. Also, I want to point out for next year, for those of you who might have listened to that and been like, boy, these guys are negative on our whatever, ability to recruit, whatever. I think if you look at the player we brought in, the type of player we brought in, and the players that we brought in from inside the league, from outside of the league, we improved our recruitment in a lot of ways this season. I'm happier about it. I think we will continue to get better. I want to point out to folks that because there are teams that have a really promising 16-year-old and then maybe a really good 21-year-old on the roster, they will sometimes play that 16-year-old instead of that 21-year-old because the 16-year-old has a longer developmental run and they think that they're going to be better in the end.
Especially if they put them on an MLS contract already.
And maybe the 16-year-old's on an MLS contract and whatever else. So that 21-year-old needs to choose to come here, and may choose in the future to come here. This is year 2 of a proof of concept thing. The first year, we couldn't get anybody from the MLS Next Pro to come here.
Except for Fareed.
Essentially nobody. No shout. But one player out of 26 or whatever is not very many, is my whole point. Fareed's Captain Fareed. I didn't mean how that sounded. Love you, Fareed.
I mean, basically nobody.
I love you, Fareed. By the way, him celebrating in front of Mercado's face was my moment of the weekend, as well as Tate saying some shit to him. I hate Mercado so much. I think that we are on the right path. I think we will be better. I think we will get a lot more players. We have a good run to end this season, and we can make some noise. And knockout football, who the fuck knows? But I also think going into this offseason, you should have hope that we're going to continue to build something. We're going to continue to go out and get really good players. And there are guys within this league that are good, that can play here, that will want to play here. And it's my belief that we will get more and more of those guys, and we will get more and more competitive. It's just going to take some time to figure this thing out. And this season is not last season. Last season, we were pretty overmatched because we had a largely Nisa-esque squad that was really good in Nisa in a league where we were overmatched for a big chunk of the season. I think this year we are much closer to a competitive team. We're just on the margins, need to fix a few things. And next year, it's my belief that we will continue to build and get better and better. So don't take this as and I think we can make some noise this year too. We just need a couple goals to go and a little more confidence, and I think we'll be back in business this year.
So you can do Justin's question as the last question?
Yes. What's the bar as of today for this season to be considered successful, given our recent run of form?
Make the playoffs.
There's nothing about our recent run of form that changes.
I've got 2 things.
Make the playoffs.
1, make the playoffs. And 2, not be the first team selected when the upper teams can select who they want to play.
Buddy, we're getting picked first. Actually, I have no idea if we're getting picked first. I think we are.
I just don't want to be picked first.
I don't care. I just want to make the playoffs. That was the marker. That is the marker. This really hot run at the beginning of the season doesn't change that. I want to make the playoffs. And if we make the playoffs, we only have to win 4 games to win a title.
Yeah.
So get to the dance, and we can fuck some shit up once we get there.
As low as the vibes are for me right now, I still think when I look at where we are, the position of team 7 and 8 and 9 around kind of where they are points wise, I still think we make the playoffs. I mean, I think we do make the playoffs this year. So, I mean, that's...
Yeah, the line is looking like it's going to be a lot closer to 40 or 41
I'd really
than it
love
is to 45.
I'd really love to win a couple of games.
So we have to win a couple of games. But also, if we go out and win three of the next 4 or 4 of the next 5, and we're suddenly like a little more in it, and the vibes are different because maybe we're playing well and the ball's going in and whatever else, like we're just gonna feel very, very different.
Sure.
Like a home game is not likely, but it's also not out of the cards. We just have to start fucking winning. We're doing this podcast for a 10 games, like essentially slide. No wins in 10 games.
2 months.
And it feels really bad. But like if we were in the West, which is a wild place to be,
I don't acknowledge the existence of the Western Conference.
let's pretend the West exists for just a moment. We're 1 point out of second. If we're at 37 points, we're tied for second. We have 35 right now. Like
is it just St. Louis running away with it?
St. Louis has 48.
So yes.
The second place Ventura County has 37. We have 35. We would be in 5th place. I realize we're in 6th, but we'd be in 5th place with being 2 points out. The East, on the other hand, goes 45, 42, 40, 38, 35, 35. So like not all is lost here. There's stuff to do. Like come out and support the boys, whether you're making it to Carolina, which I hope you are. I'm not. I did go earlier this season. It's fucking cool. And you can enjoy a Jesus brace. Or whether you're watching the game at Buffalo Wild Wings, support the boys. Support the boys once we get back. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Boys, anything super, super important?
What are you doing?
It's Sun City.
And we're going out on that.
Turn that off before we get like capped or something.
Peace.